Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back to Truth Seekers. It's been a few weeks, and boy, I've got a lot to share tonight. We have opened up a few different avenues of investigation during our break, and some of the results of those investigations has been revelatory and shocking, but it's way too much to break down. So we gotta split some of these things in parts. Tonight, I thought it would be best if we get back to basics and I reconnect with you, my fellow truth seekers from all over the world. I should also mention I took a break due to many things, but one of them being health issues, and it would appear that I overreacted. And largely my health problems were self-created. I wasn't eating well, I wasn't sleeping well, I was drinking like a fish. Some of you know that I'm a terrible smoker, smoking like a chimney. And I guess it all catches up to you. So I began to feel very run down. I thought something was very seriously wrong. And it turns out after blood tests and scans and all these things, there's nothing seriously wrong with me that can't be fixed with better diet, nutrition, laying off of the booze, which I have done successfully now for, I think, 31 days. I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling more focused, higher levels of energy. All in all, though, I'm glad that I took the time to just get off of the treadmill, you know, that wheel, like a hamster that we run through as content creators. You got to get off of that hamster wheel once in a while. And I'm glad that we did that. Besides the me going to doctors for nonstop for about a week, I also finally, this has been a long-term goal of mine, is to do this Roswell 75th anniversary deep dive. So I want to welcome all of you. Make sure that you come back here on Thursday, July 7th, just a few days now. And we've got the Roswell deep dive for you. 20 hours of all the world's leading experts, authors, researchers, and more. We've also found some archival original witness testimony, which we've put and included into this piece. This has been a long time coming, and I knew it was going to take some time to sort of get that all together and re-edit it and make it all fit and work for this project. I wouldn't have been able to do that while I was running on that hamster wheel trying to do live shows every day. So that's another reason I'm glad I took a few weeks off. Also, sort of worked on my priorities and what's important to me. And certainly what's most important to me is my family. So I got more focused towards family. And that's certainly a good thing. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father, as well as wanting to be a better show host, I guess. But, you know, everything in life needs balance, and I've gotten that back now. It feels good. As far as health complications, I think it's just I have to slowly change my terrible habits. One demon down, several to go. I keep saying I'm going to work on my diet and exercise, but I haven't yet. In my defense, I've been on house arrest with 2 children all day. And for those who don't know, it's very difficult to go places with an autistic child. So we just kind of hung around here and haven't been getting much exercise. I'm going to work on that. Now back to, we're back. There's a lot of things also that I took care of during the break, like some pending legal issues. Don't you love it when you get threats in the mail because you told somebody the truth? So this is some time ago, but I didn't have time to deal with this nonsense until recently, and that would be this. This is a cease and desist letter, an angry lawyer letter from a fake psychic healer, and her name is Sarah R. Adams, and you know that we have previously reported on her. And the gist of my reporting on Sarah R. Adams is this: you don't have superpowers. You're taking money from people, telling everyone you're going to teach them to open a Stargate, but you can't yourself open a Stargate and show us a Stargate. That was the gist of my reporting on her, that her superpowers are fake and that she cannot open Stargates, and therefore she can't teach other people and take gobs of money from people to teach them to open Stargates. It's garbage. So that's my reporting. We also reported on her fake med beds that didn't exist. The first med beds didn't exist. Then she hires an artist by the name of Arcturus Ra, a new age guy who makes, like, you know, orgone pyramids and shit. She hires him to make a real med bed that she was then going to start offering sessions in. But that med bed turns out to be just a tanning bed with magnets glued in it. And I said, charging people money, telling them you have a med bed when the med bed in question is a tanning bed with magnets glued in it, that may be a scam. Now you're all caught up. This is what we reported on Sarah R. Adams, but she didn't like that. So she had her lawyer, and the jury's still out about whether it actually is a lawyer or not. More on that in a bit. But I thought it would be fun. I'm going to read you the cease and desist letter that fake psychic Sarah R. Adams sent to me. Okay, so it's addressed to me. And by the way, this came like, I had a sign for this at my house so they'd have proof that I got it. Okay, I got it. All right, Mr. Cambion, I represent Miss Sarah R. Adams. This letter is formal notification for you to cease and desist any defamatory, slanderous, and libelous communications about Sarah R. Adams and to stop your general harassment of her. You have made outrageous statements about Miss Adams on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, right here, I have to stop them. I have an Instagram account. I haven't posted to it in years, and I certainly have not posted anything about Sarah R. Adams on Instagram. But hey, who cares about facts and evidence when you're threatening somebody and trying to take away their constitutional rights to free speech? Just make shit up, like I posted shit on Instagram. But I didn't post any shit on Instagram. Here we are. All right. While you declare yourself a, quote, truth seeker, unquote, what you offer is only your opinion. Yeah, and I'll freely admit that. It's my opinion that Sarah R. Adams is full of shit, and she can't heal anybody with superpowers, and she can't open stargates with her superpowers, and she can't talk to angels with her superpowers, and she can't talk to aliens. That's my opinion. And until she proves that she can do those things, I'm entitled to speak my opinion. That's what it is. My opinion is her superpowers are fake. All right, now let's get back to this. Here is one example from your YouTube channel, Truth Seekers, which aired on June 16th, 2021, libelously entitled Sarah R. Adams, Pete and Roxy, Medbeds, a total new age scam. In this video, you slanderously state, we've covered a lot of fake psychics, new age scammers, fake mediums, UFO hucksters, grifters, con artists, but I think that the most prolific of these scammers that I have seen, and by her own claims the most financially successful of the new age scammers, is Sarah R. Adams. Yeah, that's my opinion. She is. She's selling people fake medbed sessions, and she can afford to hire a lawyer who's going to say, yeah, you can sell fake medbed sessions, and nobody's allowed to say they're fake on the internet, or we'll threaten them for you, Sarah. Just make sure you fill out the check to us right. I mean, anybody can hire a lawyer to threaten me. This is the ridiculousness. This is the ridiculousness. All right, let me see. In addition, there are several other videos on your YouTube channel of a similar nature. The titles and respective dates are as follows. The Strange Case of Sarah R. Adams, Part 1. The Strange Case of Sarah R. Adams, Part 3. She's a fraud. Psychic Consumer Fraud, Show Us the Stargate, Sarah R. Adams. Part 2, Sasha Stone and Sarah R. Adams team up. New Age Scammers, Superpowers. Sarah R. Adams, Fake Psychic Superpowers and Consumer Fraud Revealed. These are the titles of the videos that they wanted me to take down. Which, by the way, when I got this letter, I hadn't had time to address these issues or get to this. So I did take those videos down. And we'll get to what will happen next in a bit. All right. They give several more examples. Stephen Cambion proves that Sarah R. Adams' claimed powers are all fake. Next, Pandora's Box, Laura Pritchard and Sarah R. Adams. And the final one that they mention is Medbed Scams Again, Sarah R. Adams and Arcturus Ra. These are all the titles from the pieces that we did covering her offerings. Let's just call them offerings. She offers a lot of things like services, and we critique that. All right. And they close the letter by saying, your malicious verbal assaults were made to intentionally defame Miss Adams' reputation. If you do not immediately remove your communications that involve Miss Sarah R. Adams and you do not cease posting about her, a restraining order will be requested against you and a defamation of character lawsuit will be filed. And then he mentions he sends this to YouTube Legal as well, which I have a problem with because essentially then they're threatening my livelihood here. And it's signed Patrick Ruiz, Esquire. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Having had time to get back to this stuff, I called the lawyer and I just wanted to ask a few questions. Let me be very clear. I was very polite and I said, I would like to know first what your bar number is or what state you're legally licensed to practice law in. And he said he didn't have to tell me that. Friends, no lawyer that's a real lawyer, if you politely ask them what state are you licensed to practice in or what's your bar number, they're going to give it to you. No, I have it on good authority. Several sources have told me that this guy is not a real lawyer. I'm still trying to check into that. He does apparently, according to his LinkedIn, have a law degree, but that doesn't make him a lawyer. Anyway, so I talked to him on the phone and I said, well, what did I say that was wrong? I said her superpowers aren't real. That's not defamation. That's opinion. I said she's free to prove that her superpowers are real. And if she did that would make me a liar, right? If she had real superpowers and she could prove it, and I'm out there saying her superpowers aren't real, then they got a lawsuit on their hands. But until she can prove their superpowers are real, this is a threat. This is all this is a threat. And I don't understand. They're going to get a restraining order against me. I've never been within 1,000 miles of Sarah Adams. But so this, friends, is where we find ourselves. And I think that it says a lot about some of the people here. What it says is that people believe that they can run around taking money from people, claiming they have superpowers. And when somebody stands up and says, excuse me, can you prove that those superpowers are real before you take people's money? Then you can sue that person because, God damn it, how dare they point out the ridiculousness, the absolute ridiculousness of somebody running around saying they have superpowers, charging people money for services to access those superpowers. This is where we're at. And see, this is the land of wackadoo. This is the land of make-believe wackadoo, where you can go run around and pretend to be something you're not, and nobody will call you on it. You could pretend to be a secret space program astronaut. Nobody's going to say anything. You can pretend that you ran some Pentagon program when you really didn't, and nobody will call you on your bullshit. You can, like Sarah R. Adams, claim that you're a super psychic and you have superpowers and you can heal people and change their vibration and align their chakras and all of this nonsense. You can pretend that you get abducted by aliens every night from your bedroom and nobody stands up and says, prove it, prove it. And I'm afraid, friends, that this revelation that I have reached during my break here is that somebody has to be the asshole in the room, okay? Somebody's got to be that guy that stands up and says, excuse me, I think this might be bullshit, and I want some proof. I believe that this is garbage, and I challenge you with your wackadoodle claims. The problem is there's not enough people doing that. That's the problem with all of this. Why Why on God's green earth, friends, is it just okay that Nick Pope is being advertised to paying customers as a person that ran the British UFO program for years and investigated crop circles and alien abductions for the British government? He's being advertised that that's who he is, but he's not. Nick Pope never ran any UFO program for the British government, and he's taking people's money claiming that he did. To me, that's a real big problem, and I have a real big problem with this. And you see, that is why we as a show have had problems. The problem is that I'm the guy coming into that party, and I just imagine you're all at a party, everybody's having a good time, a LARP party, right? Somebody's pretending to be an alien abductee, somebody's pretending to be a psychic, this guy's pretending to be a secret space program astronaut, this guy's pretending to be a secret government insider whistleblower, this guy's pretending that he's a super soldier and fights aliens on Mars. That's the kind of party that the world of aliens and UFOs is. It's this whole construct of bullshittery. And, imagine that kind of a party where everybody's sitting around pretending to be something that they're not. And here comes somebody right into the middle of the party who's just going to shit all over all these. You're a fucking dork, dumbass. You're not a fucking super soldier, right? You come on, superpowers. Give me tomorrow's lottery numbers, Miss Psychic, right? Oh, secret government insider. You know what? I looked into it. You never worked for the government. You're a liar. You're a liar and a fraud, right? This is our show. Essentially, I'm the guy coming in to disrupt this party and shit all over all of these people telling wackadoo claims and wackadoo stories, and people don't like somebody coming in that, look, I like, oh man, this is music to my ears, right? And then you fought reptilian aliens on Mars, right? And the government's covering it all up. Tell me more about it. That's where we're at. And you know what else I've noticed or realized is that there are several kinds of people involved in this thing. And some people are like me and they say there's something to this. There is truly something to this phenomenon. This is an incredible mystery that has gone on for thousands of years, for eons. People have been seeing things in the sky they cannot explain. They thought were angels or otherworldly visitors or sky people in the native cultures. Star people. Sorry, in the native cultures. There's something to this. But these people running around with their LARPs and their fraud and their fake stories and their nonsense and their garbage are ruining this thing. And they have been ruining this thing for decades now. For decades now, there's people that are serious about this that really want to get some answers here, but we can't wade through all of this garbage, this nonsense, this bullshittery that we are all being assaulted by on a daily basis. And it seems that the further up the trail, follow the money, friends. Go look at who's making the most money at this, and there you will find the people telling the most lies, shoveling the most garbage, horseshit stories that aren't real, right? And we can look at YouTube for specific examples. What YouTube channel makes the most money on YouTube, probably? Well, one of the top few would have to be Third Phase of Moon, who have been shoveling garbage for a decade into the UFO community. And they're shoveling their shit in, week out, and every time they get caught, they just backpedal. Oh, we're just putting information out, and we're trying to, see if somebody can help us. We didn't know it was fake. Bullshit. All of these people are all playing the same game. Get the money and run. Go on, get the money and run. That's how this works. You put out a documentary, you hype it up, overhype, underdeliver. You tell people there's going to be breathtaking revelations in there, and then nothing, bunch of nonsense. And then you just run with the money. Wait a little while, start over, rinse and repeat. I got my notes here. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked here. So, also, I just wanted to take a moment that I did realize something, that I think the tides are turning on this thing. I really think that the number of people that are serious about looking into these mysteries and don't want to accept a bunch of LARPers and fairy tale hucksters, their voices are getting much louder. In fact, there's also this cult-like mentality where you're not supposed to question these fraudsters at the top of this pyramid scheme called UFOs. You're not supposed, those those UFO celebrities, the guys that are on TV with the documentaries, all those guys. You're not, if you get a chance, supposed to ask them hard questions or ask them to answer for their fakery, fraudery, and nonsense. The perfect Go Kicks Rock on Twitter. I had a whole bunch of people. I missed it. She messaged me about the spaces that she was having. But anyway, I'm going to share my screen because this is important. This is what happens when people start asking real questions to some of these UFO celebrities. People don't like it. They get upset. Look at this. Corbell and Fugel were shit on for hours last night without the ability to defend themselves in a Twitter space with 200 people. Pretty effing lame, if you ask me. And then, of course, somebody's agreeing 100%, right? Thought shapers going to shape. Community infiltration is not a conspiracy theory. It's been happening since 2017. And we have J-Rod says, we all want people to go out there, get media attention, and get this topic out to the masses. So when they do, everyone just shits on them. So bizarre. Of course, UFO Jesus is chiming in, but the general gist of this thread is like, how dare people in this space ask questions? How dare they ask these UFO celebrities questions or talk about their fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery? These people are honestly offended, right? A lot of these people are absolutely offended that somebody would dare to ask hard questions, that somebody would dare to question the narratives, right? I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you want to live in an echo chamber full of garbage? If somebody's selling fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery, don't you want to know about it? Don't you want somebody to have the courage to stand up and say, excuse me, that shit you're selling is fake. Why don't you explain this to us? That's the problem here. The problem is that more people aren't standing up and saying this fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery is no longer acceptable here. There was a time, there really was, when these, people could just run around with this garbage. But people are wising up, waking up, and saying this is no longer acceptable. And the fairy tale side, they don't like that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why can't you, if you're making fantastical claims, and by the way, this is Brandon Fugel and Jeremy Corbell, who was being talked about in that spaces. These are people making absolutely ridiculous claims. Corbell, especially, he's claiming that the Navy is being shot at every day by UFOs, and they may be shooting back. What else is he claiming? Oh, you know how the Navy said, no, those were just drones? No, they're lying. There's a huge cover-up. I have all this witness testimony, but he won't release it. Why won't he release it? Release the testimony. Let's see your proof, your evidence, Mr. Corbell. Or are you just out there making ridiculous, fantastical claims, kind of like you did with that documentary about your fake your fake scientist, convicted pimp that you say worked on flying saucers? Why is it that these guys that sell these fairy tales need criminals to help them do it? They all need criminals. You got to have a source that's a criminal in order to sell this story. We've seen Third Phase do it with criminals. We've seen Jeremy Corbell using convicted criminals to sell stories. And more, friends. We've seen guys that were, court-martialed child molesters out there telling alien fairy tales. What's with the criminals? Why do you need, if your story is so good, do you need criminals to help you sell it, right? And isn't that a little, that's a little weird that many of these top stories about aliens and UFOs involve a source that just so happens to be a former criminal, right? I think that shit's funny, right? And I think that it's funny that we're not supposed to question their credibility. Well, maybe they made a mistake, Garbage peddlers use criminals as sources. And also garbage peddlers use criminals as sources and do not disclose to you while they're peddling the garbage story to you that they're using a criminal as a major source of their garbage story. So in my notes, I have tides are turning. People can't get away with what they used to. I would encourage that there should be a change here. If you're at a UFO conference and somebody is full of shit, go up to them. And by the way, let's be very clear. I don't condone anybody harassing anybody or cyber stalking or any of that stuff. But I would encourage people to ask questions respectfully to people that are full of shit. You ever notice, like, you ever go to a bar or something and there's some guy and he's just telling stories and he's full of shit? He just keeps going until somebody says, you're full of shit, and here's why. Or whatever. Something has to be done. Things have to change. I hope that tides are turning, and I am seeing more and more people standing up and not accepting this garbage peddlers that we have been force-fed for decades now. Isn't it interesting that the people that have been around this thing for the longest are all fading out? Go look at their numbers. They're all fading out. People are sick of them and sick of their shit. People are sick of them. Along with the good news, however, I do believe that there's bad news and that there are sort of new cliques and new teams being formed. And by the way, I'm going to remain, or try to remain, like Sweden, neutral to all of the drama. And this show host doesn't like this show host, and this show doesn't like that show, and this show said shit about this show, and whatever. Interestingly, I heard about a lot of shit on my break, kind of like some backstabber picking his next victim. But this is where we're at. This is where we find ourselves. There are some disgusting, despicable people here. A lot of people are addicted to spotlight and attention. Me, I've had plenty in my life. I could care less anymore. And I think that's a healthy attitude to have. But some people will stab you in the back for a few minutes of spotlight. It is rough out here. And everybody, there's no money out here. So everybody, there's no money to be made, or very little. So everybody is stabbing each other in the back, trying to get ahead of this guy or that guy. And teams get formed, right? Like cliques, like, okay, we'll hang out with these guys. And, no, I'm going to remain neutral from all of that shit. But there certainly is a feeling of these cliques or teams being formed. And some of those people and teams are okay. They give people a pass for selling garbage stories, for huckstering fairy tales. And that's largely why I don't want to be in any clique or group of people anymore in regard to this thing, because almost everybody, you got to give this person a pass or that person a pass, or, well, I'm his friend or whatever. I know he says a lot of wacky shit, but, no passes. We can't give out passes. Those people that give out passes, and by the way, these new teams being formed, I mentioned that a bunch of these old people, that's not a polite way to say it, veterans at this UFO game, they're fading out. They're all fading out. But don't worry, because for every old UFO celebrity fading out, there is a new UFO celebrity trying to step up, a younger version of some of these other guys, trying to step up and take their place. And most of them, the most successful, are the ones that are huckstering the garbage stories, the garbage peddlers, the fairy tale hucksters. So, we've talked about how ridiculous some of the stuff like Michael Salla puts out, or Linda Moulton Howe, but don't worry, because while they're fading out, there are new people ready to step into those roles, right? There are new female UFO investigators, right, that are going to bring you the truth about those aliens. And they give Linda a pass because, oh, she inspired me and I grew up listening to her and all this garbage. Linda Moulton Howe is a joke, and so are you if you want to be like her. That's all I'm going to say. So these new teams being formed, there's people stepping up to take they're fading out. There's a spot there for me, right? Where's my spot? I'm the guy that comes in the party and shits all over these people, for better or worse. Yeah. So you can't even have a Twitter Spaces conversation now without the fairy tale side of this equation getting butthurt. Like, oh my God, how dare you ask questions about these people making these fantastical claims? That's another thing. These people are out there on the internet making absolutely fantastical claims. I think if you're out there making fantastical claims, you shouldn't be surprised when people start saying, well, I think you're full of shit because you don't have the evidence to back up your claims. Corbell is a great one at that. Oh, I've got all this witness testimony and I've talked to all these people that were on the ship. They couldn't have been drones. Drop their names. Let's all talk to them, Jeremy. Or are you full of shit? Is that a bluff? So many of these guys are just bluffing sources to tell their fairy tales, bluffing having secret information that no one else has, bluffing having maybe alien metals from a crashed flying saucer. The big bluff, friends. It's a big bluff. And here's what you do. You do the big bluff. You overpromise and you underdeliver. Kind of like the Roswell slides, or kind of like Dr. Stephen Greer, when he did his fake alien that was really a dead baby, a deformed dead baby. This guy used a deformed dead baby to make UFO dollars, right? It's the big bluff. It may be an alien. You get the money, and then by the time people figure out that you were bluffing all this shit, you run to the next project. You already got the money. The big bluff. Jeremy Corbell, the big bluff. Bob Lazar's telling the truth, but he leaves out all the substantial and supportive evidence that he never stepped foot on Area 51, that his education is fake, that he was a technician at the place he claimed he was a scientist at. He was never a real scientist. No, the big bluff only works for so long. You do the bluff, you get the money, and then you run. They all do it. And they will all continue to do it while we let them, but let's not let them any longer. Let's say you have to answer for this. You have to answer for this garbage peddling that you have done. You don't get to just go on to the next garbage you're going to peddle without being held accountable for the first set of garbage you are peddling. Greer is a perfect example, and so is Jeremy Corbell, right? He peddled the Bob Lazar story. That kind of fizzled out when he couldn't make money from that anymore. Now he's on to, I'm getting top secret UFO videos. Most of them are shit, garbage. And now he's making all kinds of ridiculous claims, like the Navy is getting shot at every week or every day, and maybe we're shooting back at them. Jeremy Corbell is so stupid that would be an act of war, and it would be all over the news if we were getting shot at by anyone. But Jeremy Corbell relies on stupid people that he can manipulate and make money from, right? And why is it that he's on Fox News and people aren't aware of his previous bullshittery, connery, and fake stories, right? Before you get on Fox News, shouldn't they look into him and say, well, he sold that Bob Lazar story and that was largely fake? What makes him an expert, right? I don't know. Yeah. So the real UFO report, we jokingly started our show. Oh, here we go. UFO John Doe, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. Much appreciated. $9.99 super chat says the UFO Joe is the most sensitive. Yesterday, he said Erica Lukes is a great researcher who has lost her way because of her different view on Skinwalker Ranch. Lost her way, had to unfollow. Cool. Yeah. As soon as somebody disagrees with, it's especially, it kind of cuts, it doesn't cut both ways, right? Like, it's only the people that get a little skeptical that these people attack and say, oh, they really, they went off the rails. There's so much proof Skinwalker's real. Millions of dollars have been dumped into that place. And what proof, what evidence do we have? By the way, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. Much, much appreciated. Let me find that here. Thank you, UFO John Doe.
This is Trixie from Truth Seekers, thanking you for your generosity. I'm gonna praise the cash so hard, I'm gonna teleport myself on board a sexy tic-tac UFO. Thank you for your generosity.
Yeah. I got to check and make sure that we didn't miss any others, but I don't believe that we did. By the way, I'm on Linux workstation, finally. No more Windows nonsense. You know what was great is be right in the middle of a broadcast and Windows would say, we have to restart your computer for updates. And boy, it's great. You just get less and less freedom. I'm sick of it. We'll be sticking with Linux for all of the show needs. It works, and it does what I tell it to. Therefore, it wins. Okay, so Brandy Phillips talking about bought subs. You know, Brandy Phillips, a lot of people buy subscribers and or buy views. And anybody that has to buy subscribers or buy views, they're doing it for their ego. Their ego can't take what they've actually earned as far as attention. And I get it. We live in an attention-based economy now, meaning the more attention that I can get, the more money I will make. But to fake it till you make it never works. And there's so many guys that I know. I know a guy I grew up with, a musician, and he bought hundreds of thousands of views and expects people to believe that he got those views organically. And people are making fun of him behind his back because they know that some nobody rock guy from Philly is not getting hundreds of thousands of YouTube views all of a sudden. And by the way, the song's not even that good. So, you know, the fake it till you make it crowd. Yeah, realness is priceless. So I said we we're going to open the phone lines. And every time we do this, it's sort of hit or miss. Sometimes nobody calls. But I said I'm going to do it, so we're going to do it. I'm going to open the phone lines, and then we'll take all your comments, questions, etc. But I do want to remind you, we have this Roswell special event this Thursday, July 7th, starting at 9 a.m. and then it goes, I think, till 3 a.m. the next day. It's 20 plus hours of content. The Roswell deep dive, the definitive Roswell deep dive. We've gathered all the world's leading experts, authors, researchers on Roswell. We've got people that are pro-alien hypothesis. We've got Walter Bosley, which has a completely different hypothesis of what really happened. We've got alien scientists and Cal Korff. Cal Korff thinks it was just a weather balloon, the mogul thing. So we've got a great mix of believers and skeptics on that deep dive. I hope you will join us this Thursday, July 7th, starting at 9 a.m. All right, so we're going to open these phone lines here. Oh, I also want to remind everybody too that we've got these new things. This is Roswell replica debris, the I-beam. And tomorrow, or excuse me, Thursday, when we do this Roswell deep dive, we'll be offering these for pledges of $30 or more. Just something, a nice gift that we can offer for people that are supporting our show. I'm going to have more. We're going to have the Truth Seekers TR3B models and maybe Bob Lazar's flying saucer model. Why should he be, him and Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp be the only people making money off that fake story? Hey, I like UFO models, even if they're from a guy who faked the story. Still cool. Ka-ching. Mo money, mo money, mo money. All right, we're going to open the phone lines. And when I get back, get your comments, questions, and suggestions. Comments, questions for me. Put them in all capital letters. That really does help. We're going to open the phone lines. If nobody calls, we're just going to answer questions from the live chat and call it a night. Let's get into it, friends. Open phone lines. Here we go. Hey, so there we go. Phone lines open, ready for callers. I want to thank NM with kind and generous $20 super chat. Says, can't wait, keep doing the historical research. Glad to hear that some people appreciate it. That Roswell project was a long time coming. I couldn't believe, too, it's 3 parts. There's this, the first part is 6 hours, 3 interviews. The second part is 6 hours, 3 interviews. And then the next part is 1 interview, but all of the historical the testimony of original witnesses, and also some bits from Stanton Friedman from my original interview with him while he was still alive. For those that asked, yes, sadly, Stanton Friedman is no longer with us, but through the magic of technology, I could still make him a part of this. He tells this great story about how he found Jesse Marcel. Wanted to include that, and we did. But anyway, we have the third part is 8 hours. And of course, that's the one where YouTube I got a copyright claim on some piece of music that's from the government. It's a government public information piece, and I still got a copyright claim. So I had to go and mess with the music and cut things. And for anybody that's ever done it, go try to edit a video file that's 8 hours and just get rid of 2 1-minute pieces of an 8 hour. It was not fun. But I'm glad that's over with. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It really does help us to praise the cash in it. So thank you very much. Jello Putin is here, and thank you for your kindness and your kind comments. He's always making good comments. He says, keep watering this garden, bro. Yeah, for those unaware, I used the That's the Joe Rogan school of running a podcast. Just come here every day, water that garden, because if you just go there every day and you work on that garden, surely that garden will grow. And we've seen it grow. Happy to say that this is our third year doing this. And, I thought a lot about the show and what we're going to do going forward with the show. UFO John Doe, I don't care. Anything is fine. We can talk about whatever you like. Yeah. So, future of the show, we have some pretty interesting investigations going on, and I'm anxious to report the results of those. But those things take time, and that's another thing that I reflected on in my break. We're going to do less shows here, but better shows. There are people out there that I think I call people on the take. There are people out there that are doing 5 and 6 shows a week. And friends, there's not that much to talk about. And these people, they don't do any work. They look at, on the internet or Twitter and see what is everybody talking about, and then they blabber about it for 2 hours. I don't want to do that. We want to have more focused research shows and topics that people can, get something out of other than my opinion. Lord Ludicrous with kind and generous $4.99 super chat says, congrats on the 31 days. Nothing worthwhile is easy. Yeah, it's been easier than I thought it was going to be to kick the booze. Ask anybody that knows me. I sure enjoy drinking a 6-pack or a 12-pack, but I found other things to try to fill that time, and I'm trying to meditate more and do that less, and it's all. Yeah, Brandy Phillips, quantity doesn't mean quality. It usually doesn't. See, something's got to suffer. You can only, I don't understand, these people that do all these shows every week. It's just racing for super chats and money. And I think you do the audience a disservice at a certain point, because you're not really giving them anything other than your opinion or commentary. And let's be clear, there's a place for commentary, but you got to have something to share with people. You have to have some work put into the story. There's all these shows, and basically they're all surface level shows. They go about as deep as a pie pan into what they talk about, and that's it. Because it's hard. It's hard to do that work. It's hard to do that research. It's hard to have something new, right? And or we could just do a show every night talking about the same crap everybody else is talking about. And I hate that. I really, really hate that. And good direction, but I think raw conversation and edited ones should be posted. Well, I'll put a link to the whole 2-hour. I think he's talking about the Stanton Friedman bits. I took a good 15-minute section of our interview, but I will post the full interview in the description of that video. And thank you, by the way, Lord Ludicrous, for kind and generous $4.99 super chat and helping us to praise the cash. Busy signal. That is weird. Why would you have a busy signal? Let me make sure. No, you should be able to call in. Or maybe not. Every time we try this, there's some weird stuff that goes on. It must be the CIA, friends. They're trying to stop our show because we're getting too close to the truth about those aliens. Andy Gambino says 6 days a week, no content except to massage your ego and make yourself feel needed and special. Yeah, it's about spotlight hounds. If you need the spotlight that much, I feel bad for you that you're willing to just go ramble 6 days a week. We're going to try and have more focused things here. More, like this Roswell deep dive, that's some work. I think people appreciate that you actually did something, that you actually, interviewed people, try to get to the truth. Gigi wants to start the conversation over. So questions or comments for me, just please put them in all capital letters. That would be good. Somebody mentioned busy signal, which I don't understand. Martin writes, wife is beating him up right now. That's pretty good. Sixth Sense reminding everybody, please use caps for comments, questions, suggestions. Yes. Yeah. And here's the number. So if we don't get any calls, that's fine. I think somebody said they got a busy signal. 2 people did. Oh, 1 second. Let me see. No. Oh, you know what? My phone is near dead. That could be it too. I don't know. All right. We're going to take questions from the number not in service. Oh, DKG Customers here says, I stopped watching You Know Who after claiming someone under oath was lying with no evidence. Yeah, that's what happens. Martin Wright with a kind and generous $5. Keep doing what you're doing, Steve. Love you, man. Well, thanks. Good to hear from you, Martin. And I appreciate your kindness, your generosity, and your support. It really does help us when we... it really does help to support the show. I'm trying real hard to devote more time to this, and really everything comes down to time and money, right? Trying to manage that. How much time can I justify devoting to this? Every dollar helps me justify more time. But I love what I do. Thank you for that. I think we know. I'm sorry, guys. See this? It's a live show. You get it, warts and all these things happen. So this number that we use is a Google number that forwards to my phone. And for some reason, it's not forwarding to my phone. Doesn't say that on my end, just rings busy. That's weird. Yeah. I don't know what the issue is. We're going to have to test this before we try it again. Yeah, Ron from Cosmic Neighbors is here, who, by the way, had his first show. Stealing my favorite guest, Michael Schratt. Cosmic Neighbor says there are no new UFO stories out there, so a bunch of these people just love robbing ideas. Yeah, exactly. And Andy Gambino is working on another vid. Cal Korf is here. He's going to be part of our Roswell 75th anniversary event. Again, that's this Thursday. Yeah, and there's the other thing. We were just over 1 hour. One of the other things I realized is 2 hours is sometimes too long. Mike Gambelli says Trixie gave him the wrong number. Ghost 8, I wish I was that good at makeup. No, that is Intel Lady. Search YouTube for Intel Lady. Our friend who helps us with several things here has her own channel, Intel Lady. You should check it out, Ghost 8. Okay. So, did I ever level my printer? Yes and no. It's about 3/4 of the way. If the print uses 3/4 of the bed, everything works. If the print uses the edges of the bed, nothing works. So I contacted them. They're supposed to send me another print bed because I believe the bed is warped at this point, having tried for 2 weeks straight. It's not printing on the whole bed. It's not leveling. So, you know, here we go with the aggravation. Now I got to change the print bed and start the leveling process over. And yes, I am still mad at him. Absolutely still mad at you. All right. I wanted to also remind everybody we're having this Roswell special event, and we've got these fun and prizes now. So let's have a word from our sponsors, which is the sponsors of this show are you. People make pledges from all over the world to help us continue in this journey. Here's a little bit about that.
If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you too will know about future special events you can attend here. I wanted to take a moment to thank all of our kind and generous benefactors because people all over the world send a few bucks in pledges, either through PayPal or through the super chat down there in the live chat, the money button, super stickers. We have and take Cash App pledges as well. I want to thank everybody who has signed up to be a Patreon member because for as little as $1 a month, you can get some extra content from us here. Additionally, I'd like to thank the channel members who get a bunch of YouTube benefits as well as all the Patreon benefits for as little as $5 a month. I also wanted to mention that I have something strange for my friends. These are Roswell wreckage replicas, which I have been making here. I also wanted to mention that for today's special event, we have prizes for those of you pledging $30 or more, either through Cash App, PayPal, or Super Chat. And this is a gift that we will be sending everybody who pledges $30 or more. This is a Roswell debris replica, and it's designed to look exactly as Jesse Marcel and his son had described. This is the so-called I-beam wreckage. This is a replica, of course, and I'm happy that I'll be able to offer these to anybody pledging $30 or more to our show today. This is just a special free gift that we're going to be giving you kind and generous people for supporting our show. Well, friends, let's get back into it.
Welcome back here. So we've got some questions in the audience. I apologize for the phone line mishap. We'll have to figure that out before we try that again, right? We will definitely have to try that out. People are asking me to give out my home number. No, I'm not doing that. I have enough people to call that other number. I have to turn it off. People, when it was working, would call me at 5 a.m. to tell me about their alien abduction or something like that, right? Forsaken Truth says, is the fishing good near your cabin? Yes and no. There's a stocked fishing pond, but all the fish last year in that fishing pond froze and died. It was a really harsh winter. And every couple of winters, that fishing pond just is devoid of fish. And this is one of those years. I just took my son, Xavier, to that fishing pond, and we were there for quite a while. We didn't even get a bite. There is no fish, but there's tons of little minnows in there. I think they stocked it with baby fish. So next year, the fishing closest to the cabin, the fishing pond that we can walk to, will be great. In the meantime, there is all these state parks which have great fishing. There's trout, bass, all kinds of fish. It is really good fishing there, and I mean big fish too. You know, dinner fish. You can go get yourself a dinner fish, a couple dinner trout. And I love doing that. So thank you for the question. UFO John Doe with another kind and generous $9.99 super chat. Says, what's your favorite episode after all these years? Favorite guest, worst episode? Also, have you seen the Ariel doc? Tried calling but got a busy signal. Sorry about that. We have to sort out these technical issues. I was not prepared for that to not work. I just assumed it worked. It's best to test these things. Yeah, so my favorite episode, yeah, that's really a tough one. Favorite guest is also a tough one. I'll give you my favorite guests have been alien scientist, Michael Schratt, Whitley Strieber. And I got to say, even though it was crazy, one of my favorite guests was this Anjali, because at least she had the courage to come here. Worst episode, we had one where people got drunk and fell over, and it was just a rowdy mess. And then I can't remember why, but everybody was talking over one another. It's one of those panel shows that I thought was the worst, right? And the Christmas shows tend to be bad too. It's like a thing. Like if we're going to do a Christmas show, it's got to be terrible. It's got to be horrible. And I'm looking forward to the next horrible one, I guess. But you know, doing a show like this is peaks and valleys. I've learned that. They're not, you know, I may strike out UFO John Doe, but I'll tell you this much. I'm willing to take that swing, right? Like Evel Knievel. I'm willing to take the jump. Yeah. And have I seen the Ariel doc? Not yet. It's on my list of things to do, but I wanted to be able to have the time to watch it while taking notes, because I'll give a detailed analysis of that. Uh, yes, Joe K asking, did you watch Tom DeLonge on Steve-O's podcast? He talked a lot about his BF UFO stuff. Thoughts on Italy incident he talked about. I have seen part of it, and I'm going to cover it. We're going to cover that here. We're going to play it and talk about it because Tom DeLonge said a whole bunch of wackadoo stuff on Steve-O's podcast. And, you know, I don't know if I am, I don't know how I feel about this, but I didn't know that Steve-O was such a pitch man now. And what's a pitch man? Just like I did, like, give me some money and we'll give you this nice thing, right? I'm a terrible pitch man. But Steve-O in that broadcast, he's pitching razors. He's pitching, I was surprised at that. But good for him. He's probably making money from those sponsors. Wish we had some. But as far as the podcast, Steve-O said Tom DeLonge said a bunch of wackadoodle nonsense that I want to cover. We want to clip out, I'm still working on this. I'm going to clip out the craziest parts of the shit that he said and put it together because when you do that, it becomes more apparent that it's like he smoked a big fat doobie before he went on that show and is just talking about like, hey man, it's all energy, bro. It was bizarro. But we will cover that, right? Single Wide Samurai with too much game says, Konnichiwa, friends. Welcome back. Well, welcome back to you. I'm glad to be here. Oh, boy, I can't tell you how much, guys. I'll take half the blame. Thanks, Craig. I need somebody to take more than half the blame. I can't tell you, though, how happy I am to be back here. Hadn't taken a break in 2 years, 2+ years, and I needed it. But then the kids started, I had my kids for 3 weeks, all day, all night, and then go to the cabin with them on the weekends. So no real break from the kids. It has been kind of rough, but I took the right period of time off because my other son, who's autistic, Zachary, my oldest son, he goes to a summer program, which started this week. So it'll be a little easier on me for the next month until he's done with that. I'll have more time for the show. I don't know how. That's another reason that I took time off. I don't know how I was going to be able to have the energy. These kids wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know how I was going to have the time to have the energy to wake up with them and deal with them all day until their mom gets home and do a show at night. By the time their mom got home, I was done. I was like, Buffonian Prince. Oh, geez. I'm going to pass on commenting on the user ID and just say thank you. Yeah, I'm looking great, feeling great, and smelling great. That's part of the of the thing. Oh, and UFO John Doe, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It's much, much appreciated. It's through the kindness and generosity of viewers like you that we can continue our show. So thank you. We appreciate that. You have our gratitude. And I got to say, I got a real big attitude of gratitude lately. I got, time to think while I was on break. And I'm in my, I could tell you this, I'm in my pajamas right now, bottoms. And it's very nice that you could have a job where you could work from home, wear pajamas all day, and still get paid. What more could you ask for out of life? I am very blessed, right? Very, very blessed to be able to continue this journey with you. A lot of you know that I considered packing it in. I mean, 2 years working on something is a long time. And I had to really think about whether I wanted to continue. But I will. We'll try to wrap things up with getting full circle. We started this broadcast with a letter from a lawyer, which we don't even know is a real lawyer, from one of these wackadoo people that we cover. And I was threatened with legal action if I don't shut up. And I'm not going to shut up. I'm just not going to do it. So, and I also importantly decided that, some people think I'm too aggressive when I go after these fraudsters, fakers, and, fairy tale hucksters. I decided that actually I don't go far enough. I'm going to be a little more aggressive. Because if people are outright committing crimes, then I'm going to start contacting the district attorney or the police in the area that they are doing this in, and I'm going to ask them questions like, is this legal? Or is this allowed? There's a lot of questions that should be asked. Like if somebody is knowingly and willingly pretending to be something they are not in order to get paid to speak at UFO conferences, isn't that consumer fraud? I believe it is, but I'm not a police officer or district attorney. So going forward, when we cover these people, if I believe that they are possibly committing crimes, I'm not going to make that decision or determination. I'm not even going to offer my opinion on whether they are committing a crime or not. I'm going to call the proper authorities and I'm going to show them our evidence and I'm going to want an interview. I want an on the record statement. Is this legal? And if so, why is it legal? I think that's the proper way to do this going forward. And it may stop stupid people like fake psychics from sending me threat letters because they're going to know that they can't continue with their plans, with their money-making scheme. And isn't it interesting how at least one of these people who sent me legal threat letters stopped one of their offerings. They stopped offering a service because we covered it here. And I think that's great. That means we saved a lot of people from becoming victims of that so-called service that was being offered. So going forward, I can tell you this, I'm an all chips in kind of guy. I can't do anything halfway. You know, I'm not going to just bend and break. Oh, somebody threatened me. Got to take those videos down. It was a bad decision to even entertain doing that. Now, I have to be clear in saying that if I make a factual error and somebody has a case, you have to make the appropriate decision. But if I'm just saying things like this girl doesn't have superpowers and then I get a legal threat, I'm not backing down. That's where we're at and that's where we find ourselves. Paragon Reason says, Steve, you're like one of 5 YouTube channels I check every day. So that's saying something. You do a great job for a solo guy. You should be proud. Yeah, I am proud. Thank you, Paragon Reason. I appreciate your kindness and your kind encouragement, you know. Terry from Not My Rabbit Hole is here as well. Welcome, Terry. Jello Putin wants me to sue the fake lawyer. Yeah, and isn't it interesting that the girl with the fake superpowers probably has a fake lawyer that she's threatening people with? I don't know any lawyer in the world that if he asked them what state they're licensed to practice in will say, I don't have to tell you that, and yell at you and hang up on you. But, you know, this is where we're at. So, yeah, and as I was saying, too, is that we're going to try to keep things a little more succinct here, a little more structured and a little less rambly. But today I thought I'll just go and welcome back the audience to this, our 3rd season here. What a great run it has been so far, and I'm anxious to continue it and glad to be back to work. Cosmic Neighbors, no, it's his name, and he gave me his home address with this letter. Though I was able to look him up on LinkedIn and tell that I believe that he has his education in his LinkedIn lists that he has an undergraduate degree and a law degree. But I don't understand why he would yell at me and hang up on me or refuse to answer basic questions like, what state are you licensed to practice law in? Because there's this whole thing with this Sarah R. Adams. She lives in New Mexico, I think Sedona. And this guy is from somewhere else, another state. And I'm in Pennsylvania, another state. So it doesn't make any sense. If you're really going to sue somebody, you have to sue them in the jurisdiction that they live in, which means she would need a lawyer from my state to do anything. And, you know, this is just a scare tactic. This is just designed to get me to take videos down saying that she doesn't have superpowers because she doesn't want to prove that her superpowers are real. Right? It's very simple. If you don't like me, if you consider me saying your superpowers aren't real to be me talking shit or defaming you, then show us your superpowers. Prove that your superpowers are real, and then you'll get to prove to everybody that I'm lying on you or slandering you because I said your superpowers aren't real. UFO John Doe with a kind of generous $1.99 says, looking forward to the Roswell work on the 7th. Yeah. Erin Flores says she doesn't and she is an awful person. Well, the views expressed by our audience aren't necessarily my own. I'm not going to comment on what kind of person she is, but I will say that somebody claiming to be love and light and then threatening to sue because you don't like them expressing their opinion that your superpowers aren't real, it just doesn't make any sense. But thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, UFO John Doe. We appreciate it. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to July 7th. It's been a long time coming to get that thing to work, right? All 20 hours of it is done. We're locked. We're loaded. They're all on they're all locked and loaded on YouTube right now with premieres scheduled. And you can look at our channel here and see what time each of the parts starts. And also, I wanted to mention that if you're a Patreon member, you've already got access. We've given you the Roswell Deep Dive parts 1, 2, and 3 already. And if you're a channel member, I forgot. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm still getting used to having channel members, but I posted the Roswell Deep Dive links also to our channel members, so you get early access to these big projects that we're going to be doing like that. If you're a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Could be worse, Joe K says. Fraud Standing takes people camping for $5,000 and tells them he will show them Bigfoot. Not once has it happened. Yeah, we've covered that, and we're going to continue to cover that, Joe K. I've got a little bit more to do, and we're going to present a big deep dive on him called Is This the Face of Bigfoot? We've put out little parts of it, but we'll be returning to it. Look at that. It's lights out here.
Bluetooth mode.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Todd Standing. Oh, geez, we covered him too. 6 Cents reminding everybody how you could support us. We appreciate that. There's a join button, or go visit us on Patreon, $1 a month. You get some extra goodies from us. So I mentioned that we're going to try to keep things a little more compacted and more concise, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm not going to ramble here for another 45 minutes. We've done our due diligence today, which is to welcome you back to Truth Seekers. We'll be continuing this journey shortly. We've got another live show for you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I've got a wealth of information about one UFO huckster to share, and you're not going to believe it. I can't wait. It's going to be good. Be sure you're here, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, Wednesday. And again, be sure to be here all day and all night on Thursday for our Roswell 75th anniversary special event. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a great event. We're going to have these special prizes for people giving pledges, which really does help the show. And I'm glad we can give something out for that. Also, one second. I want to shout out every one of the guests, and I don't want to mess it up. So you'll have to bear with me for a moment while I get that. So we're still a little bit out of sorts here. Yeah. All right. So for our Roswell 75th anniversary broadcast, we have parts 1, 2, and 3, and included in the interviews is 2 separate interviews with Don Schmidt, also an interview with Kevin Randall, an interview with Cal Korff and alien scientists. We have an interview with Tom Carey, an interview with Walter Bosley. We have an interview with Michael Schratt, and also a segment of an interview where it's Stanton Friedman, where I was interviewing him, and he talks about finding Jesse Marcel. And for those that don't know, the reason any of us know the Roswell story is because Stanton Friedman found Jesse Marcel and got his on-the-record testimony. A very important broadcast for us this Thursday night, the Roswell 75th anniversary broadcast. You know what I should do? I should put it up. So the links to that are in, let me share my screen here. The links to that are in the description here. So that's our special Roswell anniversary. We will be broadcasting all day and all night. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, and it goes until I think 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning the following day, the 8th. So we have 20 hours of broadcasting. Part 1 is 6 hours, part 2 is 6 hours, and part 3 is 8 hours. Do not miss it, friends. We've been working on this for quite some time. It would be great to see. And I don't often remember to ask this, but for this one, I'm asking you, please, that first Roswell 75th anniversary deep dive, the first one, the first link, I'm going to go over and put it in our live chat. If you guys could be so kind as to share that on your social media, it really will help us to find more people that are going to see that. I'm going to put link to Roswell show. And that's just part 1, but you can put all 3 parts on your social media. But it would be great if you could let everybody know, especially people that you know may be interested in a very deep Roswell dive. We've been working on this for so long. I'd really like to see great attendance, and but I've kind of divorced myself from outcome. I did that project for me. I wanted to interview all these guys. I wanted to try to get to the truth behind this mystery. I did my best, and you'll get to see the results of that. 20 hours of content on Roswell. Long time coming. And I want to thank each and every one of those people who really volunteered their time. We got to speak to each and every really good expert author and researcher who had studied Roswell. And we're going to get to broadcast that this Thursday, our 75th anniversary Roswell deep dive. Be sure to be here. I'll be in the live chat, in and out all day. And what else can I say? I'm going to try to be there for the whole 20 hours. And again, anybody pledging $30 or more on Thursday is going to get a free gift of one of these Roswell I-beam replicas. I have envelopes standing by, and it's against my better judgment, but we're doing this. You know, sending stuff internationally is a bit of a nightmare because I'm going to have to fill out custom forms and write in there like, I don't know, Roswell debris replica. But you got to go to the post office, and then you got to fill out these forms for international people. But I want everybody to be able to get the free gift, so I'll, you know, whatever we have to do to get it to you. And thanks for all the kind welcome back comments tonight. It really means a lot to me that so many people showed up. This is a bit off the cuff and last minute, but I thought it best to not get too deep into the weeds tonight. Just come back, welcome everybody back, tell you a little bit about what's going on in the future here. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. We also want to remind everybody, if you're listening in audio podcast land, you're missing half the fun. Be sure to go on over to YouTube and put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar. Look for me, the guy with the strange sunglasses. And that means you found our channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you too will know when we're doing a live show event here or a special event like the Roswell event. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and you too can be here for our live chats. I welcome each and every one of you to join us every time we're doing a show, but especially for this Roswell 75th anniversary. Please do take that link, share it on your social media, tweet it out, put it on your Instagram, wherever you can, Facebook. It really does help us so that more people find out about this special event. If this works out and is successful, we'll be having more all day, all night deep dive special events. That's what I'd like to get into. I'd like to offer people a little more meat on the bone than some of these people that just ramble for 6 days a week. And you know, how much of what they do is memorable, right? I want people to experience a show here and go, that was good, right? I mean, it can't always knock it out of the park, but you can try. I will always be here swinging, right? So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Tomorrow night, I'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a deep dive into one of the world's most well-known UFO celebrities. And what we found out just may shock you. It sure shocked me. Be here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll get into it, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Canby. I'm glad to be back. And I got to tell you, God bless all of you, and thanks for being here. Good night.